Hi, this is Penny. It's Saturday morning and it's early, so I have motorcycle hair and a lot of sun, and I got a new paint kit, which made me want to check out kind of all the paints. I'm a self-described watercolor whore, perhaps. I will show you a bit of my collection, and then we'll test some out. Of course, putting this in the little attachment might be fun in a minute, so we'll see how this goes. So let me flip this around. Okay, this is one of my art rooms. This is technically the computer room, but I needed a bigger table for some of my acrylics. So I use this room as well as my other watercolor table. For this, it'll work great though. So this is the new kit that I got from Miya to test out, which is awesome. It's super cute, as you can see, super portable. It's got a little handle on here. Let's see if I can pop it open with one hand. Boop. Portable little kit. Oh, yeah, I forgot to show you. Little watercolor brush down there. Although I did try fitting it in the case, and it doesn't quite fit in the carry case, which is a bummer. They also give you a little sample pack here of some watercolor paper to try out. And their case is interesting. They are conserving on materials and weight by not having the extra bottom. Usually you'll have a metal bottom and the two sides will fold in like that. It'll have metal bottom and the two sides fold in. This one just leaves the plastic bottom, cuts out one of the sides, and gives you your full palette, which is pretty cool. Put that over there. So they've got a set of half pens, 18 of them, and I did a little bit of experimenting with them yesterday just to see how they flow and play with them. So I swatched them out. I don't like swatching colors a whole lot. It can be kind of boring, but I swatched them out and then I played with them. I don't like doing your regular swatches. I like seeing how the colors flow together, seeing what kind of textures you get when you let it flow, seeing what kind of colors you get when you mix the different ones together, which is pretty fun, I think. That's the best part of it. So I just experimented a little. That was my first round of experimentation when I got them in yesterday, just dropping some in. Some pre-mix, some just letting them mix themselves, which is cool because you can see they got some cool texture. They got some cool spread and some cool colors, which was a lot of fun. So I thought what we'd do today is look at them in comparison to some of the other ones. I've got some Aquanaut watercolors down here. I've got Core. I've got some Daniel Smith and some M. Graham. I've got Greenleaf and Blueberry. I've got some Pima and some Jane Davenport. I've got Schminke. I've got DaVinci. I've got Pfeiffer. So quite a few handmade, quite a few of other things, some other stashes, and this isn't even all of them. Not even close. And I've been playing with them now for about 2.5 years. I love watercolor. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to take a minute to reset this phone and put it in a holder, and we'll test out some of these colors and see what they look like and let you evaluate them as well. Okay, I've got good lighting in this room in the morning. That's one of the reasons I like to use it, although right now it's killing my eyes. I am using just Canson watercolor paper. That's what I used on the little color chart you just saw. And it's going to be hard to get exact matches for colors, but we'll pull some out and see what we've got. So I've got Pima and Jane Davenport at the top here. Usually you always like a standard red, yellow, and blue, so you have your primary colors. Greens can be telling, but they can also be not telling because you can make greens really well, sometimes with more variety just by using your blue and your yellow. And purples. Purples can be tricky. I really like nice, bright, intense purples, and a lot of times you can't get that from most of the blues with a lot of the reds. So a lot of times I like to use my Daniel Smith cobalt teal, which I like the cobalt teal anyway, but it makes fabulous purples with just about any kind of red or pink. So we'll just look at a couple of these and just see. I did spray. Some of them might need to be resprayed by the time we get to them, just to kind of pre-wet them a little bit, give them a start, but we can put some of the colors down. So this top row's Pima. It's got a lot of their metallics, and we'll just try a couple of these and see what you think. So we get some cyan colors, see how they go down, see how much color we pick up. See how some of them play together. Try their green, I guess, since I don't really have a good red in here. This is kind of reddish. Sometimes it's nice to see how they drop into each other, so let's spread out. Okay, let's look at some of the Jane Davenports. I've got those down here, so I do have some standard colors for her. So we'll do a yellow, and we'll get one of the reds. Blues. Actually, I have them right together. How convenient is that? None of these are bad. There's just some that I like better than others. And sometimes it's a matter of not just the brand, but the type of color because of the materials it's made out of. Other things that are important when you're looking at watercolors is whether you want them to be more opaque, which means you can't see through them as much, or translucent, which means you can see through them a lot. And it's nice to have a combination of them. The Daniel Smith Cobalt Teal happens to be pretty darn opaque, which is interesting. If you do a lot of layering, or you like to do a lot of layering, you might rather have the translucent abilities, because the translucents can stack up on each other a little better. So just an idea of some of those. So that is the Jane Davenport. Let's see, I've got the Miya colors here. These, you saw them on the other sheet. I really liked them. I thought they were really good. So far there's only one type of watercolor that I truly hated, and that was Artist Loft brand by Michaels. They were just ghastly. They had no color that came off. It was just not fun at all to work with them. And you just kept fighting. For a while, it took me a while to decide, was it my paper, was it my brush, or was it the watercolor paints? And in that case, it was definitely the watercolor paints. They just didn't have much pigment, and they were really hard to pick up any color and get them to do anything, and it was just not fun. These aren't quite showing as well. Let me see if I can get some water down here, because these are a lot of fun. And these colors are beautiful. They actually have a really nice purple in this set that's just gorgeous. The pink's good. They've got a couple of reds, which give you a lot of options. They've got a warm and a cool red, they've got a warm and a cool blue, they've got a warm and a cool yellow. So just with those, you can make a lot of these other colors or make them even better. They've got an interesting set of greens though. They've got like a yellow green and a green yellow. This one was interesting because the more you spread it out, this is kind of cool, the more you spread it out, the more yellow it gets. And then they've got like a green yellow, so it's pretty close to the same thing, but it's on the green side instead. And then they give you a phthalo green, which is always pretty. So you kind of have a variety there. They give you a couple of blues. They give you a black and a white in this set, which for watercolors, I don't really use black. And I don't really use white because white watercolor, even if it's opaque, it just doesn't seem to do much. You can use it to lighten up some of the other colors to get more towards a pastel kind of variation, so it can be useful. As far as black, black's not usually anywhere. I tend to use Payne's blue-gray, especially Daniel Smith's, or like an indigo blue, which I use a lot with the Schminke. There's a Purline green that DaVinci has. It's kind of a gray green that's dark, that's really nice. And I've got a favorite Aquanaut that I like that's a really dark, like blackberry color, so it's a dark purpley color that's really cool. But these colors are a lot of fun to use. and we'll use them more later because I'll do a whole picture with them or maybe more. The one color that was a surprise in here for me is orange. Orange is kind of hard to get. You can usually make it easier. I love my translucent orange that I have with Core, and I love DaVinci's translucent orange. In this case, this is kind of a weird orange. This orange is more opaque than most of the oranges I'm used to. It came out really strong. It was kind of interesting. These do layer well from what I've been able to see, and they do mix well, and they do give you some kind of cool mixes. I'm not doing nice juicy mixes, so it's harder to get some of the magic, but I want you to be able to see some of the colors, and you can see how easy those pick up and just how nice they are. They're a lot of fun. Let's see, Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer is a handmade set, and it is a really nice set. I tend to not use it as much. I don't know why. I like it. I was trying to use it the other day, and it was not picking up color for me as much as I remembered it doing. I remember it picking up color a little better, and that made me a little not as excited. It's a little bit more stubborn. Let's see, let's get a red in here too. Oh, man, I gotta re-wet these. Apparently they're dried off since I first sprayed them down. So we'll redo that. Get some more water in here going on, because they do come out. They are very pretty colors, and I don't know if it's just because I've had them sitting around and they haven't felt as loved for the last 6 months or what. She's got, you can see a selection of the colors here, very nice. She's got some with sparkle too, that you can get a sparkle set. I'm not enjoying how these mix quite as much. And I liked this set a lot. Her colors are very pretty, so you can use a lot of variations without having to make the colors, which is so nice sometimes, especially if you're in a rush. You don't have to do that. Let's see kind of which colors I like or have used the most. So there's those. Okay, let's see, what have I got next? Ah, I've got the Aquanauts. Aquanauts. I have so many Aquanaut colors that it would be hard to pull up. Margaret's Xanadu Studio Aquanauts are great. This year she had a lot of Aquanaut boxes where you could get 6 colors, which these are about the equivalent of a half pan each, a month on a subscription. She's not doing the subscriptions right now, but they're a lot of fun. She adds some sparkle, and you can see I get 6 different variations of purple, which are fun. These things are great. Like I say, I have so many of these, it was hard to grab any, so I just grabbed some of the most recent ones that she had. These things re-wet beautifully too. They're a lot of fun. These have sparkle, and you probably won't be able to see some of that on camera that I'll be able to get in here, but the colors are fabulous, and I love them. And these layer each other over each other really well. She enjoys coming up with unique color combinations. She's probably a fellow watercolor whore, whether she wants to be called that or not. So Margaret, you're a watercolor whore too. It's not just me. She loves to make colors, and her colors are beautiful. I love playing with them. I paint with these a lot. At first I thought, how much could I possibly like having sparkle? I didn't think I'd like it. And there's usually just a little bit of sparkle in most of her colors. And some of those are my favorite pictures that I've done. They're the most special and the most interesting, just because they have that extra little something something, which is cool. This one needs to be, these got a little dry too. I had them wetted down, but they got a little dry while we were doing other things. So get some of these off of here. If I get them actually wet, that would probably be nice. Be a little bit more showy. But I've used these in many pictures, and I really like them. They're gorgeous, gorgeous colors. So you can't go wrong with those. I have some yellows of hers that I use regularly, and some other ones. Some of her purples are just stunning anyway. She made a set. She likes to experiment. I've got some glow-in-the-dark paints. I've got a spray set of liquid watercolors that I use with a little spray gun. That's a lot of fun. I'm still learning to use that right. And let's see. I don't know. She's just got fabulous ones. She's got a set she made with some car colors, some car paint colors. So they're like a duotone car color. And I've saved some of those because I'm going to be painting some more cars, and I'm going to use those paints on those cars because they are fabulous. I love, love, love the Aquanaut colors and the variety. Being a watercolor whore that just can't have enough color and enough fun and enough experimentation, I'm totally with her on being able to try colors and experiment with them. It's a lot of fun. So let's see, green leaf and blueberry. Where's my green leaf and blueberry? Here they are. These are neat. These are made mostly out of stone and things, and they're very comparable to Daniel Smith's line that are also made out of stones. And I have a couple of those I can show up to. The Primatex. I love the Primatex. Some people don't like them because they've got a lot different particle size and they disperse differently, but the colors are fabulous, and these are gorgeous too. So I probably should re-wet these. They look like they've gotten a little dry too, but you can get an idea at least of some of the colors. These are a great set. When I'm doing bright colors and I'm doing bright pictures, I don't tend to use these as much, even though the colors are very nice. I do tend to use these when I'm doing outdoor pictures. If I'm doing anything outdoors or nature-wise, this is probably my favorite set to use because the colors are so natural, and I just love how they come out. They're beautiful, beautiful colors. And they're a lot of fun to use. They do take a little bit more water. A couple of the ones that I tend to use a lot, especially if I do faces, I love Pipestone and I love the Hematite. They're fabulous. Other colors are they're just beautiful. So they've got really nice set. You can get some really unique color combinations when you match and layer these and mix them together, which are going to be a little harder to see here. But you have to use enough water, and I'm probably not using enough water for some of these because you can get a really cool green color. You have to experiment with these more to see what colors you like with them and to see what you can really do with them, because they do layer and you can come up with color combinations that you wouldn't think of, which are beautiful. I didn't show you these. I like Pipestone and I like the Violet Hematite. Violet Hematite is a really nice color. And Pipestone is too. Again, these are great just go-tos for faces. They're go-tos for rocks. This is one of my favorite sets, definitely. If I'm doing something outside that's a natural setting in nature, I love to use these. They're one of my faves. You can see it got quite bright. Malachite takes a little extra water to get going. Lindsay, who does the Postman Knox, she does calligraphy, and this is one of her favorite brands too. She shows you how to do these with calligraphy, and you can soften up the paint and do a little puddle in there, and you paint with your paintbrush onto your calligraphy pen, and you can use it for calligraphy, so you can get any color you want, and they work beautifully. So that's the green leaf and blueberry. I didn't have quite an even number of things, so we'll get some more down here. Scooch these so I can scooch this out and maybe you can see it a bit better. So this isn't a perfect demonstration, but you can still see some of how they flow and they go, which is nice. So I've got Schminke next. So here's some of my Schminkes. I've got some of these mixed together too, because I've got favorites that I like, so I popped them in here. So here's Schminke. Schminke's definitely awesome. And some of their colors, you can get some really bright, gorgeous ones. Their translucent orange is amazing, and I find that I was using it a lot. They've also got, their ruby red's nice, but their opera pink is fabulous. And let's see here, we get you the ruby red too, so you can see them. They've got some lovely blues. Helio. You can see they blend in with each other really nicely right off the bat. I love their French ultramarine is interesting. It's got a little bit of purpley blue to it. And their indigo. I use their indigo, and I've got a Payne's gray blue from them as well. So here's a nice dark indigo. And here's their Payne's gray blue. This is Schminke's Payne's gray blue. And of course they've got some beautiful violet. I love purple. Can't beat a good purple. Thin that out a little bit. You can see that you can glaze over the top of each other. Really nice. So it's a lot of fun. So those are Schminkes. You cannot deny Schminkes are amazing. They're awesome. I love them. They are expensive though. Green leaf and blueberry can be expensive. They're a little hard to come by, but they're fun and I really like them. It's interesting because I find that depending what I'm doing, I use different sets for different things. This is actually DaVinci. They're a US brand and I love these guys. I love their colors, I love the brightness, and I love how easy they are. See, these have dried out too. I should probably re-wet them. I'll show you that purline green. This is cool. This was a cool green. This was the purline green that I was telling you about. It's kind of a gray green. It's an interesting green. I hadn't seen it before and I really love it. It's a great green. And you can see how it just sorts out and granulates a bit, which is great. Give you an idea of some of the other ones. So the ones that we saw up in the Miya, they had the three greens that were really, yeah. So you kind of got the equivalent here too. So here's a hooker's green. So it's a little bit more of the green with the yellow. And then you've got the gold green. And then you've got a phthalo green. So here's their green set. Ooh, those, look at that. That's pretty. It's fun. It's just fun to play. Sometimes it's fun to just mess with colors and not even do anything important. Violet oxide I use from them a lot. That's really good. It's a lot like that pipestone or the violet oxide that the the green leaf and blueberry had. And you can sort it out looser. They've got a really nice set of the rose red. And we'll put it with one of the, oh, they've got a cerulean blue in here, which is I've got an indie blue. You can see ultramarine, cobalt, cerulean. The cerulean's kind of fun. So we'll put that together. You can see I get a nice purple out of that. And then we'll put one of the yellows there. For mixing, a lot of times I'll use the bright yellow. But I tend to use a lot of like a Hansa yellow or a gamboge that's got a little bit of an orange to it, which in a set you can also use a sienna, a raw sienna or a burnt sienna does the same thing for most of the time. But these are pretty fun. So I'll show you one of those too. You can see these bleed into each other and they layer up nice too. Give you a variety. They're wonderful colors. I have some favorites in these that I didn't even show you. I love their opera pink. I've got those in a different set. Let's see, do I have my set with me? I like to use their opera pink. And I made my own trio. DaVinci was doing trios and they had some artists come up with trios. I created my own. I really like using their opus, which is kind of like an opera pink. Of course, I don't have these wetted down, so that's not helping me out here. Let's see if I can get some water in a couple of these. But I love their opus. I love their pink because it makes fabulous purples. That's why it's so good. And they have this lovely color called phthalo turquoise that I just love. And you mix those two together and you get some pretty cool purple. And I've got just too much water there and too much stuff. You can see how that's going to come out. Be a little nice. You can vary it and get some really gorgeous purples from that. Or you use the cobalt teal and do some too. But those are a lot of fun too. I love those. Let's see. So that brings us to Daniel Smith. I've got a bunch of loose Daniel Smiths. I've got a whole bunch of the Primatex, although I don't have my Primatex out right now. I've got a set of about 20 some of them. I do have a few of them here though. Let's see. You might like these. As far as their greens go, their Primatex are a couple of my favorite. These are two of my favorites, and they both happen to be Primatex. So that is fabulous. That is green apatite. And then what was it? Doggone it. I have them all marked in here and they're all trapped. And my brain is not working. This is the diopside green. And these are natural from stone. These are Primatex. They're fabulous. And I love the way the colors disperse with them. Okay, a couple other Daniel Smiths that I use all the time are going to be the Cobalt. Cobalt teal is just lovely. This is an interesting one. This is one of the Primatex, and I happen to have it in here. This is Purpite. It's a lovely grapey color. Of course, same thing that I use the green leaf and blueberry for. I love to use my Primatex, especially if I'm doing outdoor nature things, especially rocks. I mean, they're rocks, so they've got all the natural colors just built right into them and the variety. And some of them come out so cool. They turn into things that look like leather or shells just naturally. So it's pretty awesome. Payne's Blue Gray from Daniel Smith, if you want to compare it to the other one. So there's the Daniel Smith Payne's Blue Gray, and that was the Schminke Payne's Blue Gray. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, here's another one that I just got recently that I'm learning to like. This is Potter's Pink. Since I do a lot of skin tones, I thought it would be useful, and I found out it's more useful than I think. I've been taking a class from Liz Steele on urban sketching with watercolor and stuff, and she uses Potter Pink in a lot of cool ways. She mixes it with her blue to make a pastel blue, which just seems like nuts, and you can get some pretty rustin colors out of it, plus obviously built-in base color, which is really nice. So that's just a few. Like I say, I've got a whole set of the Primatex and a variety, but that's just some of them, so you can see how they flow and how the colors look, how nice they are. Let's see, and I've got some M-grams. I just got these. I haven't had the M-grams until about a week ago. I scored such a good price on a set of their Quinn colors. It was a 5-pack of Quins that I just had to get them and try them because I've heard good things about them, and they're beautiful. So these are some of their Quins, which is a lot of fun. They had like a Quinn Gold and a Quinn Red. And I don't have enough water in here to let them flow right, because these really flow good too. And Rose. I got a Rust. Let me tell you, these colors make the best sunset you've ever seen, because I did it. Really pretty. They're fun. So let's see, core. I haven't shown you any of the core. I got the core a couple months ago, and I was using them hardcore for another class for a couple of months, so I've got them pretty well broken in and had a good time with them. They're beautiful. One of the things that's different with core is most color binders, they have honey and other things in them. They have a variety of natural binders. One of the things they use in the core is the Aquazol, and people get all uptight about it. Aquanaut uses a lot of Aquazol in theirs too. It really does allow for them to re-wet easily, because you can see these are just bone dry right now. They re-wet really easily and give you full color right off the bat, more than any of the other ones we've just seen. The Aquazol is pretty impressive. It really does work nice. Let's loosen that up a little bit so you can see it lighter. So I like how they flow, and they flow well together as well. I need a little bit more water on here. I should have pre-wet these. Well, I did. They just got dried out. So, and I'm pulling these straight out. I'm not making like juicy washes, which would probably come out a little bit nicer. And get one of the reds. Yellows. They've got a translucent orange in theirs that's pretty nice. But to me, it's very close to their transparent brown oxide. So it's like, do I really use them? Once I started making combinations, that's orange. Once I started making combos, I found out some cool differences that I can do between mixing the colors, between mixing the two blues that I've got here with the two yellows and the two reds again. They give you a warm and a cool red. Well, basically the cool red's going to be this really nice quint rose kind of color that I like. They give you a green, and of all the greens, for some reason I just don't use this green. But the flow is really good. Here's their green. They give you just kind of a standard green. I actually find I get better greens using some of the other colors. I found out that when I mix things, like I've got the phthalo blue, it's the phthalo blue with the green, that's the big tip off. And you mix it with the yellow, or with the, I think I was mixing it with the Quin Mag. I got the fabulous green. Oh, they've got a Payne's kind of gray blue here too, just to see what the Payne's gray blue looks like. Let's loosen that up a little bit, get a little bit more water in there. So this is coarse Payne's blue gray. But I've enjoyed the heck out of these, and this set is really nice. It is very portable. Sometimes I wished I had more spots to mix colors in, but this size and this shape seems to be really nice, even better than the little bit more rectangular ones. And I've been using the heck out of it. And this is a little rubber thing, and you can replace those and move them around, because I switch my colors to a set that I really like. So that's some of my watercolors, and you can just see how they kind of go in the colors then. You see some of the richness to them. I like how they mix and how they flow. You can see maybe some of the sparkle in those, but they're a lot of fun. And you can see some of the differences here between using the little bit more economical watercolors like a Pima. They're not one of my favorites, and I don't know if it's just that set with the metallics. They seem really hard to rewet and use. The Jane Davenports are a little bit nicer, although I suspect they're made by the same company. These rewet decently, and they're not a bad economical thing, but these still run you about 30 bucks for a set of 12. Primas are in that range too. The handmade ones can get quite expensive. The Greenleaf and Blueberry are very expensive. The Pfeiffer are expensive. Aquanaut, one of her things is she really likes to make it so that you can have a variety of color and excitement if you're a fellow watercolor whore and you want that, and you can get them for such an economical price. That's one of the reasons she did the dots, because you could have new colors every month to enjoy really economically, where some of these get very expensive. A lot of the price and the pigments, obviously things like Greenleaf and Blueberry or the Daniel Smiths, especially the Daniel Smith Primatex, those are expensive. When you're crushing down ruby or you're crushing down amethyst or especially turquoise, those colors are the most expensive because your base color and your base material is so expensive. And some of the colors that you get in different brands, again, the price is reflective on the materials being used, and the pigments can make a huge difference in the color. But you can see a difference in how they play out. See, I don't think I had those water dried, because that does not look as much fun. I did these yesterday, and you can see the richness of the colors that were coming out with these. They came out just a lot of fun. And I got a lot of texture changes. Part of that's going to be paper, part of it's water flow. Of course, I got to use more water there. Here, I'm not using as much water, so they're a little bit harder. But I was really impressed, and I'm going to use these some more. Like I say, this is I just got them yesterday, the Miyas. That was my first try yesterday, and this is kind of my second try this morning, just pulling out some color and playing with it. And I'm looking forward to using them and trying some more, but these are really nice. They're every bit as good or better. I think they're personally better than even the Jane Davenports or the Primas. As far as color, and you can see how much color comes out. They rewet really well, and they've got a lot of color. The only drawbacks I've seen so far that I would like is that I can't change my colors around to organize them how I want them, and I usually have mine set up in a standard kind of way that makes me happy. that makes sense to me and I don't have to search for colors. I can't seem to change these around. I've also put in questions to Miya to find out about their lightfast ratings on these and to inquire about if you can get replacements for them. Miya has some other really cool sets, and I think I'm going to try a couple other ones. They've got ones that they call, I think they were jelly pots. They kind of look like where you get the jelly at a restaurant and you open it up. They've got gouache as a set like this with the same 18 colors and a little kit, and they're in these little pots, and you can peel them open and use them so they stay wet, and they're in the case, and the case stays so that if it drops or everything, it stays moist and everything looks good. They've got a set of those that's by itself, and they've also got a set that's got 10 hog's hair brushes on Amazon for a really good price. I think I'm so impressed with these, even just the couple of times I've used them so far, that I want to get the gouache and try it, because I've never really tried gouache, and I like these and I like the color really well. They also do something with the little pots, it looks like, for a kind of a portable acrylic set, which would be really cool. It's really hard. You can't really use acrylics a whole lot unless they're in a pen, just because you can't pour them around. That's one of the reasons I use watercolor and got heavier into watercolors, because they're portable. I can put this and a pen in my bag and go. Or my favorite little brushes. I am a little spoiled. I have learned that I really like a decent brush. These are one of my Rosemary travel brushes. And see, something like this would go really good in that kit. It would fit. And I dropped it, so I can't find it easy. But I can probably tuck this in its folded version and put it right in that little travel box. And I like that handle at the top. I could actually clip it to something if I wanted. So maybe I'll be able to show that again later. But that's just some of the watercolors and some of what you can do. And again, I find it's not that I like one over the other more, although I do. I like them for some things. I tend to like them more one over another, mostly for their use and what I use them for. Like, I really love green leaf and blueberry, or my Pima text when I'm doing outside nature stuff. I really, when I want to do bright, happy colors, man, the cores come out great. Schminke, DaVinci, good variety pack, also nice colors. These M-grams, I made the coolest picture with a sunset in the background. Oh, those colors were amazing. They were so much fun. So as I get to use them more, I'll probably find more uses for them. But I find that it's not that I find one totally better than another. It's that the way I use it or what I want to use it for changes. So I'll grab a different set, or I'll be like, you know, I miss my cores. I think I'm going to grab those today. Or, you know, I haven't used my DaVincis in a month. I really feel like busting those out. So there's nothing wrong with that. They all get love. And I'm going to do some more with the Miyas and do some pictures and see better how they lay with one another, how they mix, and how I can use them more. But that's a starter for them. And hey, and now you know that I have a bad habit. Probably more than one. Thanks for watching.